I'm always looking for ways to make my embarkation day better. So for the very first time, I booked the key for my Royal Caribbean cruise. But to be honest, before my cruise, I did wonder, is the key worth it or would it be a waste of money? Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, on our recent cruise on board Freedom of the Seas, we had a chance to try out the key. And to be honest, I have a little bit of mixed thoughts on it, but I will share with you exactly what was included in the key, how much we paid for the key, which benefits we liked the most and least, and if in the end we found it worth it, and would we do it again. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. How much is the key? Now, the cost of the key can vary depending on your sailing. It can be anywhere from $25 up to about $50 per person per day. And something to keep in mind is that every person in the cabin that is over the age of 6 does need to purchase this. Now, we were on a 4-day cruise on board Freedom of the Seas, and we were 3 people in our cabin. Now, the cost per person per day was $32.99 US for a total of $395.88 for the cruise. Now, I purchased this a couple of weeks before my cruise on the online planner, and I believe at the time that it was 25% off. However, I have to say, I didn't act very quickly because about a week before it was on sale for 30% off, which of course would have been a better deal. Now, before I share my experience and review and let you know if we think it was worth it, I will share with you what is included with the key. So firstly, it includes priority embarkation on the first day of your cruise. It also includes carry-on drop-off and delivery of your carry-on bags to your stateroom. There is an exclusive welcome lunch in the main dining room featuring the key signature menu. There's fast lane access to onboard activities and private time at the flow rider and rock climbing. There's priority disembarkation at tender ports from ship to shore if that's applicable. You'll have dedicated seating at shows in the main theater, Studio B, Aqua Theater, and 270. There is Voom Surf and Stream for one device. In other words, that's the Wi-Fi or internet access. And there is an exclusive breakfast on debarkation day. Now, throughout our 4-day cruise, we had a chance to try out most of these benefits. However, the one that I really was looking forward to probably the most was the embarkation day itself and the embarkation lunch. So we were a little bit disappointed in terms of when we arrived at the cruise terminal, because while there was a separate line for the key and we were able to go right in at about 11:15 or 11:30, there were other passengers there as well. And although it was in a different line, they were able to enter as well. Now, I don't say this because it was a problem, but just because everything was so fast and efficient that we really didn't find it made a difference to actually have early embarkation. In the end, we boarded at around 11:50 along with several other passengers. Now, I've cruised with Royal Caribbean before, and I've always chosen the earliest embarkation time. So I do feel if you plan correctly and you get that early embarkation time, this benefit is basically nil. Now, starting at noon, there is a welcome lunch in the main dining room for people who have purchased the key. And something that we really did like was the carry-on luggage drop-off. Since cabins are not ready when you board a Royal Caribbean ship, if you do board early, it was really nice to be able to hand off our carry-on luggage. And after our lunch in the main dining room, we were able to go back to our cabin and our carry-on luggage was already there. There was no need to lug it around the cruise ship. The key lunch. Now, we were escorted to our table in the main dining room and presented with our menu. Now, the menu is supposed to feature items from the Chops Grill menu. And to be honest, I've eaten at Chops Grill before. I love that specialty restaurant, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by the menu itself. Now, keep in mind that food is something that is subjective, and I had heard mixed reviews before. Now, in terms of the menu, you have 3 courses. You have appetizers, which include Caesar salad, wild mushroom soup, and colossal shrimp cocktail. All of that was very good. It wasn't very different from anything that you'd get in the main dining room in the evening, but it was tasty. Now for the main dishes, you had a choice between a Chops dry-aged steak burger, a 6-ounce Angus filet mignon, and grilled branzino. Now this is where, in terms of the steak, now we all chose the steaks, and unfortunately all of our steaks were overcooked. We even sent it back. I hate to do that, but it came back overcooked again, and it was served with French fries and a little container of ketchup and of gravy. And as I said, food is very subjective, but the fact that it was overcooked, it definitely wasn't our best meal of the cruise. There were 3 nice dessert options: royal chocolate cake, New York cheesecake, and ice cream. I have to say, I do recommend the New York cheesecake. That did not disappoint. Now, although our embarkation day lunch wasn't perfect, we really did enjoy getting out of the hustle and bustle of the rest of the cruise ship and enjoying that beautiful Miami view. Voom Surf and Stream Internet. Now, one of the best benefits of the Key is Voom Surf and Stream Internet, because if you're going to be buying Wi-Fi anyway, this does come included. Now, the regular cost for Voom Surf and Stream Internet for one device is approximately $20 to $25 a day. Now, we always purchase internet because we do work when we're on board a cruise ship, and as well we use it for daily life. So that was something that we did calculate when we did purchase the Key to see that it was worth it. Now, in terms of the internet overall worked well on the cruise ship, except for some reason in our cabin. Now, I think this has to do with the fact that the Freedom of the Seas is an older cruise ship. We had an ocean view cabin on deck 2, and truthfully, we could hardly even go on the Wi-Fi on our phone. So we used to have to open our cabin door, put our phone out into the hallway if we did need to even check our emails. By the way, I will leave a video after this one where I do talk about our time on Freedom of the Seas and things that you should know if you are booking a cruise on an older ship. Dedicated seating at shows. Now, this was a benefit that I didn't expect to value that much, but we really did. In particular, when we watched an ice skating show in Studio B, we had reserved seating. And although at first we looked at the reserved seating and we thought, oh, is this really a great spot? It was in the upper level, not right on the ice. It was actually a perfect spot. Being in the corner, you saw absolutely everything, and it was great. And while you do still have to show up at least 10 minutes early to be able to get a seat, it was nice to have those preferential seats, knowing they were waiting for us. Private time for onboard activities. Now, I think this has the potential to be a really good benefit if you have teenagers or kids that are going to use those activities. Now, unfortunately, because we had a 4-day cruise and it rained for 2 of them, one day that it did not rain, we were in Coco Cay. Thank goodness, that was an absolutely beautiful day, but we really didn't have a chance to try out some of those activities and really be able to sort of have that private time or even almost skip the line. However, especially I think if you're on one of the Oasis class ships or on a larger cruise ship, I think that you would really appreciate having this. Exclusive breakfast on disembarkation day. Now, this was another benefit I didn't expect to like that much, but I really did. We were seated on an upper level of the main dining room, and we had an expanded breakfast menu. Now, the breakfast was pretty good, as was the service, and it was a really relaxing way to end our cruise. Now, that being said, I did notice that breakfast was served in the main dining room for all the guests. So if you are patient or if you go early, while it might be a little bit more crowded in the main dining room, it definitely is possible to eat there on disembarkation day. I would try to avoid the Windjammer, as the buffet oftentimes was quite crowded at breakfast, and I imagine this would be the case on disembarkation day as well. Priority disembarkation. Now, we got priority disembarkation luggage tags. Although we decided to do walk-off disembarkation, we had boarded with carry-ons, so this worked for us. But the really nice thing is we had an escort, almost like a concierge, that actually brought us to the front of the line, and we were able to exit the cruise ship quickly. It was somewhere around 9 o'clock, and there was quite a long line that had built up, so we were very thankful for this, and it was a great way to end our cruise. So, do I think the Key is worth it? Well, I know there are some people that buy the Key every time and they absolutely think it's worth it, but I do think that it depends, and it depends on a couple of things. First of all, if you have kids that are under 6, it's probably a no-brainer that this is a great value because you're not even going to pay for them, and it really is nice to be able to have that disembarkation breakfast and that welcome lunch. We saw some other families there, and I think it is a great way to escape the crowds of the buffet. Now, if you're going to be buying the Wi-Fi anyway, that's something to factor in as well, as we were. However, it still did cost us probably about $10 additional per person per day. So you're talking about an additional $120 or so for those benefits. So do I think it's worth it? Well, I do think it's worth it if you get this at a discount. However, paying regular price, probably for the benefits, although they are nice, there are some workarounds to all of these things, including something that I would consider doing in the future, which is boarding my Royal Caribbean cruise ship and going to one of the specialty restaurants. Although there is an extra cost for that, I think that that lunch is probably better than the embarkation lunch served to those who purchased the key. Now, if that lunch was just a little bit better, I definitely would have a different thought on that. So that is something, if Royal Caribbean ever did tweak, then I would say 100% that the key would be worth it. Now, I would love to hear from you. Please let me know if you are going on a Royal Caribbean cruise and if you are planning to purchase the key, or if you've purchased the key in the past. Is it worth it? Yes or no? Please let me know down in the comments below. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this review of Royal Caribbean's The Key and that you found it helpful. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.